I've got a new and improved XP farming method to share with you guys today. So we've done the 20,000 XP per minute. We've done the 40,000 XP per minute. Now we've got the 60,000 XP per minute farm, and this one's a lot easier to do than even the 40,000 one. Also, thanks to a comment, now I know a way on Xbox that you can change the controls to go faster so you can get closer to the 60,000 XP per minute that everyone can get on PC. Also, this time around, I've got you guys covered. The minimum amount of skills required, I picked perfect planets for this, so you need the minimum amount of stuff. But the one thing you will need is you're going to need Outpost Engineering Level 1, just the very first one of this. Also, you will need to grab Special Projects Level 2, and we're going to get enough XP to get that on the way. And then also, optional, but highly recommended, is Outpost Management. Now, these are a little bit later on, but we're going to do the 20,000 XP per minute farm on the way to the 60,000 one, so you'll have no problem getting that. Also, you'll need a little bit of starter money. If you need that money, just go kill some high-level enemies, take their weapons and armor, or go follow one of the money farm videos that I have in the description of this video. I've made a lot of them. All right, let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and get right into this one. This time, we're going to start with small upgrades to our ship, so go to the ship services at the New Atlantis part of Jemison in the Alpha Centauri system. Go to this guy, and then he's going to say stuff. You're going to modify your ship right here. You're going to get into here. You're going to pick one of the ships that you already have. If all you have is the Frontier, then use that. Use whatever ship you have. Go to the shipbuilder. If you need to, you can go ahead and delete parts or whatever. Then you can add, and you can go up here to the cargo, and you can pick cargo bays, and you can slap on extra cargo bays in order to increase your cargo space. Now go to Jemison Mercantile from the spaceport. Go up the stairs. It'll be up the stairs to your left. You can go in here and talk to this lady. There's a few things that we need to buy from her in order to get started. Now that we have that cargo space, we can fill it with a bunch of stuff. So we're going to buy adaptive frames. It's not completely necessary, though, because we can make them. We're going to buy aluminum. We're going to buy beryllium. We're going to buy cobalt. We're going to buy copper. We're also going to buy some iron. We're going to need some nickel as well. And then we're also going to need sealant if she has it. And then we'll also need some tungsten to get us started. Additionally, we're going to need 2 0 wires, but I'm just going to buy all 5. After you buy all that, I recommend going to the chairs over there, sitting and waiting for 24 hours to refresh your shop, and then doing it again. Once you've bought a few rounds of supplies, go up here to your inventory, go to your ship, go to the cargo hold at the bottom right, go to your inventory, and then go to resources, and at the bottom right, there's store all resources. Go ahead and stuff those into your new cargo space that you have. Now you're going to open up the map, and you're going to go to Narion up here to the top right of Alpha Centauri. There's a planet here, a moon specifically called Androphon. You're going to go to Androphon, you're going to press R or whatever it says on Xbox to scan the resources and show them. Then you're going to try to find mountains, and you're going to then find craters. On the right, it says what it is. You're going to try to get this as close to the border of the 2 biomes as you can. So right where it changes between the 2 like that. And then you're going to land. And you're going to do this until it randomly generates a split biome between the 2 biomes. So if you don't get the right biome, just go and do another area like that over and over again. But it looks like the very first time we got lucky and we got it, and then we see the craters ends right into a mountain biome. So we're going to run right to that seam of the 2 biomes. Now that you're at the seam, you're going to press F to open the scanner. I don't know what it is on Xbox. From here on out, I'm going to shout out PC controls, but just to know all the button combos are at the bottom by default. So right now we're going to press F to open the scanner, press R to open the outpost, and then it'll say what resources are nearby the top left. So we're going to run along the seam until we see aluminum and iron together like we're seeing right now. Once you find a spot, you're going to place the outpost, press V to toggle view. It's at the bottom. And then you're going to look at with an aluminum extractor to see where the aluminum is and see if there's enough of it. And then you're going to do the same thing for the iron. So this is a pretty good spot. So now you're going to go ahead and start throwing down some extractors. I'm only going to throw down 4 of each right now to get us started. But you're going to put down the extractors. Then you're going to swap to the power tab at the top right, and you're going to throw down a bunch of solar arrays. You can see how much power you need at the bottom right. Then you're going to go to the crafting tab at the top right, and you're going to put down an industrial workbench somewhere near the center of this place. Then you're going to go up to this industrial workbench and use it. At the very top are adaptive frames. Depending on how much iron and aluminum, you're going to want to craft a bunch of these, but don't use up all your iron and aluminum, just use up a fair amount of it. Now go back to build mode, go to the storage tab, and throw down a few pieces of storage in separate units. So put one down like that, and then put another one down something like this. Then press tab to go back to modify mode or whatever it is on Xbox, and then go up to your aluminum extractors and attach them to one box. Then go find your iron extractors and go attach them to the separate unit of boxes like that. Once they're all attached, don't forget to also attach the boxes to their adjacent boxes like that. Then go back to build mode and go to furniture and put down a bench. Then sit on the bench and wait 24 hours for your storages to fill. If it won't let you sit down, then try saving and loading your game to fix the bug. Afterwards, your storages should be full to 100%, so go ahead and grab your aluminum and grab your iron and then head back to that workbench. Craft up a bunch of adaptive frames. Then go back to build mode, and you're going to want to dramatically expand on this storage. Once you're done, you'll have something like this. Then go back to modify mode and make sure that all of your storages are actually connected to one another. And don't connect the two rows. You do not want to mix up the two resources. And now your iron and aluminum planet is done. Go ahead and sit on the bench and wait for 24, 48, or even 72 hours. All the lights on the boxes should be green if you did it correctly. Now it's time for step 1. We're going to level up some. So what you can do is you can go to these adaptive frames. You can craft 99 over and over again in order to get XP super fast. Just make sure it's at the top so you can click like this really fast. If you're on Xbox, you can pause and read this comment somebody left. They said, bind right bumper to X, bind right D-pad to the left trigger, and then push the left stick to the right, plus holding down the left trigger and spam X, and that will let you fill this up way faster so that you can go at least close to as fast as the people on PC. And if you're on PC, you can go to the settings and then go to the bindings and then scroll down to the menus. Down here is menu navigation, change accept to right click, then back out and exit anyway. Then what you can do is you can go to this and then you can make sure it's the top one, get your mouse in the correct position, and then just spam left click and right click. If you can get your mouse off the mouse pad in the correct position, then you can hold your mouse and not have to worry about it moving around, and then try to hit left click and right click with all of your fingers, or however you want to do it. And congratulations, now you have a 20,000 XP per minute farm that you can do on PC, probably like 3 to 5,000 per minute on Xbox or something like that. And that, guys, is just step 1. We have so much more to look at. So we did all this just now for 2 reasons. One reason is so you can level up. The second reason is we actually need the iron, the aluminum, and the adaptive frames. So the first thing you want to do, though, when you level up is you want to start pumping points into science. You want to get level 1 outpost engineering, like I said in the beginning of the video. But I actually forgot something. You will need level 1 or maybe even level 2 of special projects. I just double checked and it's actually level 2. So you'll need level 2 of special projects and you'll need level 1 of outpost engineering. Also, a nice quality of life I recommend getting is outpost management as well, which getting it won't be hard now because now you have a way to get 20,000 XP per minute to get you started. But now let's move forward and let's get to the 60,000 XP per minute farm that also makes a bunch of money, by the way. So now we need to get off this rock and bring our resources with us. So open up the scanner, press the outpost button to go back to build mode. Press tab to make sure you're on build mode, and then go to the last tab, the miscellaneous tab, V to toggle view. You're going to want to put out a landing pad with shipbuilder somewhere near the base like this. That will let you transfer things to your ship. Then you're going to run over to it and get up onto it and use this console right here. And you're going to view and modify your ships, go to a different ship, make a different ship your home ship, then go back to your main ship, make that your home ship. By the way, if you want to learn how to make this freighter, I'll have a link in the description of this video somewhere on my guide for making the freighter. So that will move it here. The first time you do it, it'll just be invisible, but now it's actually there. Now you're going to go over to these boxes, and you're going to go grab a bunch of aluminum, and you're also going to grab a bunch of iron. Don't forget to also have like 1,000 of those adaptive frames that you made. Open up your inventory, go to the ship at the bottom left, go to the cargo hold at the bottom right, go to your inventory, go to the resources, and store all the resources on your ship. If you don't have cargo space, you can upgrade it at that console and add more cargo holds. Now go back to your industrial workbench. You're going to want to make 6 isocentric magnets. Then you're going to make 6 of the Tau grade rheostats, and that will give you the resources to make 6 comm relays. Then you're also going to want to make 6 of the reactive gauges. If you don't have supplies for that, go back to Jemison Mercantile, but if you bought the supplies from the beginning of the video, you should have enough supplies for all of that. Now open up your map, and in the same star system, go over to this moon called Griffiths, and you're going to want to travel there. Once you're there, open up the map and scan the planets for its resources. Now, if you don't have high enough scanning skill, you won't be able to see the Neodymium. So you could just guess until you get lucky and find a good spot, or you just go ahead and put 2 points into scanning in order to be able to see it like this, and try to find a junction where there's Neodymium and helium-3 that are near each other like this. It doesn't necessarily guarantee that it's going to be like that, but it does increase the odds of finding helium-3 and Neodymium on the same map. Now you're going to run around on the map, open up your scanner, press R for outpost, look at the top left, and try to find helium-3 and neodymium at the same time. Once you do, go ahead and put it down, and then go to the extractors, toggle the view, and try to see where the deposits are. You're going to actually want to take your time here and try to find a really good outpost with a big neodymium deposit and at least just 1 helium-3 deposit. You don't need a ton of helium-3, but you do want a ton of neodymium. I found a really good spot. This one I'm going to actually use in my game. We have helium-3 over there. We also have these huge clumps of neodymium. So now you're going to place all of your extractors just like before, but unlike last time, you're actually going to min-max and try to put in as many neodymium extractors as you possibly can fit in here. And don't forget to put down helium-3 extractors as well. Then in a spot where there's no neodymium and no helium-3, change to the power tab and cram in a ton of solar arrays, and this time you're actually going to try to keep these as compact as possible. If you've already put down the extractors, then you can actually fit the solar arrays in between the extractors. Once you have your power figured out, you're now going to put down your solid storage, ideally between the extractors, just to be more efficient on space. Then you're going to connect all of your neodymium extractors to the same storage crate. Then connect that storage container to all of the other storage containers. If you don't have enough tungsten, don't worry about it. We're going to deal with that next, and you can just come back and make these later then. Now connect your helium extractors to one of the gas containers. Then connect that gas container to all the other ones. Now go to the miscellaneous tab, and you're going to build cargo link inter-system. You're going to build at least 3 of these. Then create an output link between the last gas storage in the chain and these little things on the back side of the interlink systems. There will only be one of them on one side, and the thing that's all by itself is the container for the helium-3. This is where you're going to want to consider getting outpost management level 1 under the social skills, which will let you add 3 more cargo links, which I personally am going to do when I do this. Now your outpost should look something like this, and now the Neodymium outpost is actually completed. So now head back to your iron and aluminum base to stock up on iron, aluminum, and adaptive frames. Go to the shipbuilder console, view and modify ships, make a different ship your home ship, and then go back to your main ship and make it your home ship. Then go to your inventory and go to the cargo hold, go to your inventory, go to your resources, and store all those resources inside of your ship. Pack up your bags, go to the right of Alpha Centauri, search for the Jaffa solar system. You're going to want to head to Jaffa 7b. And here's where you're going to want scanning level 2 again if you don't have it, because you need to find titanium and tungsten. Without scanning, you can go to the frozen plains and just guess till you find it, but if you have scanning, just go to a junction between tungsten and titanium. This one's actually really easy. You don't need a split biome. It's just the frozen plains. This is a temperate planet, so you should be able to build on it even without planetary habitation. So run around with your scanner, press the outpost button, look around, try to find tungsten and titanium together, then put it down, take a look, and see if you found a good one or not. So here's some tungsten, and then let's see how the titanium looks here. The titanium actually looks okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and do this. We don't need a crazy one for this. We just need something basic. This time, slap down some extractors, put down some solar arrays, put down a row of solid storage, put down a second row of solid storage, connect the titanium extractors to one row, connect the tungsten extractors to the other row, connect the first storage container to the other storage containers, do the same thing for the other row of storage containers, put down a landing pad with shipbuilder, put down a bench next to the center of the outpost, then sit down on the bench and wait for something like 24 hours. After sleeping 24 to 48 hours, a bunch of the storages should be full. So now what you're going to do is you're going to grab a couple thousand of titanium and maybe like 1,000 tungsten or so. Go to your inventory, go to your ship, go to your cargo hold, go to your inventory, go to your resources, and store all those resources. I'm not even sure if you need that much tungsten, but if you have the cargo space, just go ahead and grab a bunch. And now it's time to pack up our bags one final time. So now we need to go to Latana. We're going to head to Latana 7. Now you're going to scan it for resources, and again, scanning 2 is really going to help on this one. This is where we have to do things just right. So we need gold, we need silver, we need copper, and we need helium-3. So what we're going to do is gold and copper are found on plateaus, and silver is found on rocky deserts. So we're going to find the border between a rocky desert and a plateau, ideally near the gold. So plateau, we move it here, it's plateau, and now it's rocky desert. So we want to try to ride around the edge of those 2 things, and then we're going to land. Now, if it doesn't give us the border biome, we're just going to keep trying to do that and generate new zones until we find a border biome. Once you see something like this, you're good to go. You can see the border between those dark rocks and the red rocks. Those are 2 different biomes. Once you get to the border of these biomes, you're just going to follow that border until you find a patch of helium-3, gold, silver, and copper. When you think you might have found one, go ahead and place that thing, change it to toggle view, and then try to see what you're dealing with as far as the copper, as far as the gold, which are both in the same biome, and then check for the silver as well. If you find one that looks like bad, but you don't want to look anymore, what you can do is you can just leave the outpost and then keep running and try to find a better one. And if you don't find a better one, you can just fast travel back to that outpost. You can open up the map and surface map down here, and then you can just find that outpost and travel to it, or just do it from map view. This isn't the best spot ever, but in my case, this isn't a bad spot. So I just need to reposition. The silver's in this direction, the copper is also in that direction, and then the gold is sort of in this direction. So if I reposition a little bit in this direction, I might be able to get more coverage of these 3 different elements. So in this case, I'm going to remove this outpost and try readjusting it a little bit until I get better coverage of those elements. So I did a better job of balancing it out, but on your playthrough, you may want to just take more time and try to find some really awesome patch with like 2 different patches of each of the elements that are all inside, but that might take a couple hours, so it's up to you if you want to waste that kind of time or not. I'm just making a guide, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. So before we get started here, I'm going to put down a research lab. We're going to do something a little different here. And we're also going to put down an industrial workbench as well because we may need it. Or actually, in my case, I am going to need it because I built 6 of those things. I need more comm relays. So now what you're going to do is you're going to go to this research lab. If you've never used one of these before, this is how you unlock new things. You're going to go to outpost development, and you're going to have to get manufacturing 1. This is where that sealant came into play that I had you buy in the beginning of the video. Also, the little bit of zero wire I had you buy. At this point, you'll have adaptive frames and iron. We're going to need that unlocked. Also, while you're here, feel free to try to research anything else. They're going to use a lot more complicated resources, though, but they'll unlock higher level things. You can do better extraction that costs more resources, but they'll extract more resources in the same amount of space. There's all sorts of things in here for you to research. So now I need to make 6 more comm relays, so I'm going to make 6 more iso-centered magnets, 6 more tau-grade rheostats, and now I can make 6 more comm relays. So now place down all your extractors, put down all the solar arrays. I'm going to put these ones in between these extractors to be more efficient on space. Now I'm going to put down the cargo link inner systems ahead of time so that way I don't get confused on them later and not have enough space. Before I just jam my storage in somewhere, I want to make sure I can fit 6 of these things down. So now I've got my 6 cargo link inner systems all perfectly organized, but now I need helium-3. Now this planet's weird. Helium-3 is under the ground, almost like water. So we can actually put these helium-3 extractors wherever we want. I'm going to put them around the edge of my base just to try to be a little bit more efficient on space. So I put a full circle around my base. I was even able to tuck them between the ship cargo links and the edge of the map, which is pretty neat. Also, I forgot to mention, these ones actually use benzene and membrane. I forgot that we use special helium extractors for this planet. So if you don't have benzene and membrane, just fly back to Jemison Mercenary and go buy some. And now it's time for some pretty megalithic storage. So we're going to make multiple rows of solid storage, and we're going to stack them insanely high. We need 1 row for each resource. We have silver, we have copper, we have gold, and we even have neodymium incoming. However, the copper storage and the silver storage will not have to be nearly as big as the gold or neodymium storage. And we'll also need storage for the helium-3. If you start to run out of resources while building, go back to any of the planets that we colonized, the titanium tungsten planet or the iron aluminum planet. Go make adaptive frames, whatever you need. Also, if you run into any weird bugs like this one while you're trying to build, just save the game and load the game, and hopefully it'll resolve them. I finished the solid storage. This one's for the neodymium. This one's for the gold. I need more neodymium than I need gold because of how it's going to work out. I have a little bit for the backflow of the silver, a little bit for the backflow of the copper before they get processed, and now I'm working on putting on some gas storage. Now, you may not have enough copper for the gas storage. If you want to, you can go and find a copper planet and go put an outpost on it, just like we did for the tungsten and for the titanium. Or you can go back to Jemison Mercantile, buy some copper, and then wait and refresh it a few times, and just do that. We don't need an insane amount of gas storage. We just need to make sure there's a surplus in case it gets used faster than it can be supplied. And then the last mega storage is going to be the warehouse. So just like that first solid container line, we want to make a warehouse container line. This is where the titanium comes into play. We're going to burn through a ton of titanium, making this thing maybe 12 or 13 layers tall. And you may notice I'm putting on the gigantic warehouse pieces. That's just from doing research. So if you want these, just go do research at that research bench. And now the warehouses are complete. You want this to be the biggest storage of all the storages. This needs to store way more than the other ones. I should honestly make it bigger, but you can make it as big as you want. Okay, now that those are done, what we've got to do now is go to modify mode, and I've got to connect all the extractors to the appropriate containers. We're going to connect the copper over into one of these smaller strips, and we're going to connect the silver into the other strip. I actually moved the copper back to that one, and now we're going to put the silver into this small strip. Finally, we're going to take the gold extractors and we're going to connect them over into the smaller of these obnoxious giant storage crate strips. And now for the really bad part. Starting with the first box that we connected on each of these, we're going to connect all of these to their adjacent containers. So I finished connecting the 4 middle strips to each other, and now it's time for that research to come into play. I told you to research a manufacturing 1, and we're finally going to use it. So you're going to go to this simple fabricator, and this will be unlocked after researching manufacturing 1. So it uses a bunch of zero wire. You can make zero wire by grabbing silver and copper out of those boxes and take it to an industrial workbench. So here at the bottom right, there's a button called variant. So we're going to press T, and we're going to take this thing all the way to variant 11, which makes zero wire, uses copper and silver. Now I'm going to put down 10 of these. I don't know how many I actually need. I've never tested, but we're going super scale, so I might as well just put down 10. Now we need to connect the last storage container from the copper boxes, and the last storage container from the silver boxes into each one of these fabricators. After they're all connected, you're going to take each one of these fabricators and you're going to connect them to one of the warehouse boxes. Connect them all to the same one. Once they're all connected, you're going to go through the hellish task of connecting that first storage container to all the other manufacturing storage containers. Once they're all connected, now we need to turn our attention to all of those inner links that we made. Go to each one of the inner links and grab from the green box and connect it to the one of the containers from the biggest row of solid containers that we have. And once they're all connected, use the box they're connected to and connect all of the solid storage containers in the obnoxiously gigantic strip of them. And now that everything is set up, it's time to fast forward time. So we're going to go to an Easter egg planet in this game. So over by Alpha Centauri, there's Sol. This is where our solar system is. We're going to go to Venus. You can go to anywhere. I have an outpost here, but that requires planetary habitation. You can just land and sleep in your ship. It's fine. So the main thing here is Venus rotates extremely slowly. So 1 hour on Venus is an insane amount of hours everywhere else. So you're going to go to Venus, you're going to sleep for 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours, whatever you think. And every time you sleep 24 hours, it makes 100 days pass in the rest of the universe, which should fill up all of our storage with just 1 or 2 or 3 sleep cycles. I waited 48 hours on Mars, and now literally every single thing is full. So you might be wondering why I didn't turn on the cargo links before doing that. And that's because we need to talk about cargo links real fast. Cargo links will do nothing when you wait. Cargo links only work during normal gameplay time, like right now when I'm running around. So that's why I didn't even bother. I wanted to go ahead and get a giant backlog of the Neodymium that we were going to use before I even bothered connecting these things. So back on Griffiths, you can see that the Neodymium containers are completely full. Now I have a kind of a big mistake here. I should probably make twice as many containers, but I just want to go ahead and get this over with and ship this video. So now that it has a bunch of backlog, I am ready to connect these. So the way this works is we go over to the control console on each one of these, and because I have cargo link inner systems on another planet, I'll be able to see them all right here. Here's all 6 of those on the other planet. So I'm going to select one, I'm going to confirm, and then close this, and that will make a ship come in, fly down, and grab this stuff, and then fly away over and over and over again for the rest of time. But again, it will only do it during game time. If I wait on a bench or a chair or sleep on a bed, it will literally pause this system while I'm waiting. Also, for people who think this game doesn't have bugs, check this out. One of the cargo containers is missing its container now, so I'm going to have to delete this and replace it in order to try to fix it. Also, check it out. There are links to things off in the middle of nowhere that don't even exist now. So replacing it did fix it, but look at that. What the hell's going on with those I-beams? Well, either way, hopefully it'll all work out. We're going to connect the rest of these inner links. And we also have one that's missing the incoming and outgoing containers. Time to replace this one too. So I replaced any that were broken, I connected them all, and there they go. Now it's time to go play the game for, 20 minutes, an hour, something like that, and let all of the Neodymium containers fill up in the other outpost. So I only waited about 10 minutes because I got impatient, just wanted to finish the video. You can see that 3 rows are already filled. So what you would do is just let this accrue while you go play the game, and basically you're accruing XP here that when you want to cash it out, you can cash it out at a rate of 60,000 XP per minute. So let's go ahead and cash out our 60,000 XP per minute for what we do have though. So again, just a reminder, in order to do this, you have to have a certain skill, and you can get it from that earlier XP farm, 20,000 XP per minute that I showed you. And what you're going to need is special projects. I think it's special projects 2. Yeah, with special projects 2. Once you have that, you can go to the industrial workbench. You'll have additional things that you can craft. Scroll down to the Paramagnon Conductor. This is what we've been working for this whole time. So if you craft one of these, you'll see it gives 3 XP, and it doesn't use that many ingredients. This is a pretty simple recipe, believe it or not, compared to some of these other crazy ones. So this is a great one that we can now farm for XP. So we scroll down to where it's at the top, click it, click right here, and each time we do that, we get 300 XP instead of the 100 from the others farm that we did, and instead of 200 from the previous farm. This is the new best version that I have for you. I rebound E to right click, and now I am just gonna farm away at this. Also, while doing this, I'm gonna pop up the instructions again on screen for controller players on what you can do to make this go faster and make it comparable. If you do the modifications that I have on screen, apparently I've been told that will fix it and make it a lot better, and maybe then you'll get like 10 or 20,000 XP per minute. But for PC players or anyone using a mouse and keyboard somehow, if you do it like this and your game runs decently well, doesn't hang very much like mine is now from all the outposts, then you'll easily be able to get 60,000 XP every single minute. So as expected, I ran out of the Neodymium first because I didn't actually wait for it to fully stock up. I literally only waited 10 minutes. If I waited an hour, I would have had like 5 to 6 times as many, something like that. But either way, let's see what happened here. So now I'm level 115. I was level, I thought 110 or 111. I don't remember. I thought it was level 110 or 111 though. So if I had that completely full, I might have just gone from level like 111 all the way up to level like 125, 130 or something like that. By the way, there's no level cap, so that's why you want to find some crazy XP farm like this, is so that you can go even further than level 100. Also, if you want to make money off this at the same time, don't forget to put down a landing pad with Shipbuilder, and then after you're done crafting, you can just run it over there. You'll be taking a ton of damage, but you can't actually die. So you can just run around with all this weight in your inventory. I have 73,000 mass, and if I had done that entire thing and waited and done the whole thing, I'd have like 600,000 mass on me. So now I could run up here, get in my ship, go to a shop, drop it on the ground in a shop after I'm done selling to a shop or something, and just leave it there and come back later and keep siphoning off money whenever I want from that shop. And that about wraps it up for the 60,000 XP per minute XP farm. Hopefully you enjoyed that. I hope you did. Don't forget to subscribe for more stuff like this. I got a lot more coming out soon. But that's it for this one. Now you know how to make 60,000 XP per minute in Starfield.